Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Ann Trujillo with the latest from Denver 7. Trust down the drain in Castle Pines. Contact 7 has been investigating the Castle Pines Water District ever since we learned it sold 7 million gallons of water to be dumped on a construction site. The Water Board's president later stopped the trucks and issued an apology and launched an internal review. The board fired the full-time water manager earlier this month. Now, after mounting pressure in the community to move forward tonight, there is some compromise. Chief investigative reporter Tony Kovaleski has the details of this new development.
We share your concerns.
He's the chairman of the board.
And I will only one more time say we are sorry about what transpired in the last quarter of last year.
He's talking about the sale of more than 7 million gallons of top-quality drinking water taken from this hydrant in Castle Pines Village and driven more than 20 miles east to this construction site in Elbert County. Denver 7 asked why, and that question sparked a community controversy.
Look at what you guys have done here. You've made this into a federal case. We are embarrassed by that.
The Community Water Board and the Homeowners Association were forced to respond. Special meetings have led to what now looks like a road to compromise.
We really would have been stressed, and it would have been difficult for us without your help from the Channel 7.
Jerry Schofield and his neighbor Tad Walden were the residents who saw something wrong, worried about the valuable water, and wanted accountability.
When you have to right a wrong, that's a very easy thing to do when finally everybody gets to know that there was a wrong being done.
Village of Castle Pines a better place today?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In the end, a community dealing with decisions about valuable water, now committed to righting a wrong, a promise made by the new general manager of the water district.
Is it accurate for us to report now that you're going to fix this problem?
Together we will. And I guess if you ask me what your role was in this, well, initially it was a nightmare for us. But at the end of the day, maybe I ought to say thank you. I'm not sure I can do that yet, but we're moving in the right direction.
That was Tony Kovaleski reporting. The doors of communication between the two sides now appear to be open. The Water Board is likely to end the sale of water to out-of-county developers. Is it just a name or a nod to an ugly period in history? Today's the deadline for Stapleton voters to decide on the future of their neighborhood's name. Before becoming a booming neighborhood, Stapleton was home to Denver's airport. Its name came from former Denver Mayor Benjamin Stapleton, who was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Well, some say that's reason enough to change the name. Others say Stapleton means no more than the name of the neighborhood and that changing it isn't necessary.
But I do think Stapleton is so well established now that to change the name is kind of silly.
And that name change could cost residents. The second question on the ballot asks if there should be a special assessment to pay for it. Colorado is getting the green light on a plan that would lower insurance premiums. It's called Reinsurance. And under this program, the state pays a portion of high-cost health claims, allowing companies to lower their premiums. Companies selling individual plans expect premiums to fall by 18% in 2020. Now, for the average family living in Metro Denver, the savings would be about $281 per month. It could drop up to 41% in some areas, including the West Slope and Eastern Plains. Now, this only applies to about 250,000 of the 5.7 million people who live in Colorado and will only lower costs for those of you who buy insurance on the individual market. A new plan could also help lower the cost of prescription drugs here in the U.S. The Trump administration says it will create a way for Americans to legally import lower-cost prescription drugs from Canada. Health officials have long fought this plan, but the industry is facing increasing pressure from surging prices, I should say, and consumer groups say the move could pressure Big Pharma to reduce prices. A Longmont family is mourning the loss of a loved one, and until some good police work, was mourning the loss of their family's dog. Robert Corby suffered a medical emergency outside a gas station last night, and he died. Well, surveillance video showed a woman leaving the scene with his dog. Denver 7's Megan Lopez explains how the family got Corby's dog back home as they prepare to say goodbye.
There's a special bond between a man and his dog.
They went everywhere together.
For Robert Corby,
Bobby was a veteran who served in the Persian Gulf War.
that connection was a little more special than most.
Bobby suffered from PTSD and wanted a companion animal. And when he met Samson, they just kind of clicked and fell in love.
But on Tuesday, tragedy. Bob was walking his dog when he had a medical emergency at this 7-Eleven.
He was all sweating by his face.
Emergency workers tried to save him, but Bob passed away. And while they were trying to help, his dog Samson disappeared.
We're not treating it as necessarily that she did it maliciously, but we are interested in returning the dog to his family.
Causing Longmont police and Bob's family to desperately plea for Samson's return.
That's it. We just want the dog to be with the family because it was Bobby's best friend and it's all we have left of him.
Nearly 24 hours and dozens of tips later, a stroke of luck.
As I passed 6th and Main, I saw the dog walking with a couple.
Deputy Chief Jeff Satter was following up on a tip himself when he spotted Samson.
Being in the right spot at the right time, but also paying attention.
Maybe luck, maybe good old-fashioned police work, but in the end, a special reunion. Little Samson was a little shaken, but his family's just happy he's home.
It feels like we have a piece of my uncle and having Samson back, so we're just incredibly grateful.
Look at the smile.
And that their last bond with Bob, his dog, is back in their lives.
I miss you. I get it.
That was Megan Lopez reporting. And Megan tells us that police are going to continue to follow up on this case and will send us an update when they have finished their investigation. Now from the First Alert Weather Center, here's a look at your forecast. It's going to cool off over the next couple of days with a chance of storms in the evening. Looking better, warmer for the weekend. And then more storms again for next week. This has been your Denver 7 On Demand update. Thanks so much for joining us. Check back here later tonight for another update and download the Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. I'm Ann Trujillo.